bass. Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on this beautiful machine, the Boss Rc505 Mark II. Today we're going to be putting 3 oscillator bots all on top of each other. This is going to let us get a bass, a harmony to that bass, and a little arpeggio over the top, all with a bit of reverb, all in one at the same time. Let me play it for you right quick. So I put that sound over 2 different original sounds. Without the effects, these sound like just a straight bass note. And that's more of a side-chained kind of sounding bass note. That comes on the upbeat. So it gives you that pumping effect. With the effect over it, so to quickly go through what I have here, very quickly the notes that I'm doing. I have this changing every measure, 4 steps. I'm doing a 4-6-5-1 in D. For B, I also have 1 measure with 4 steps. I'm doing a 5th up from that. So it's just a 5th up from a 4-5-6-1 in D. There's the notes. And on C, I actually have this set to 16th notes and 8 of them. So this is going to be repeating twice a measure. And this is just like a little arpeggio, once again, all in D. There's the notes if you need them. You can pause to grab the notes if you want them specifically, but don't copy my notes. Have a lot of fun with this. And D is just a little reverb. The important part of this is how to stack them on top of each other, and the important aspect is your mod sense and your balance. So for the very first oscillator, which is just bass, you want it to sound nice and clear and present, and you just want the bass note, so we want our balance at 100 and our mod sensitivity to 50. If we dial this back, we'll just cut the volume down. But we want nice bass notes, so we're going to max those. For our second guy, this is the one doing the 5th up. It's actually 5th up with an octave separated, so it's an octave and a half in between, just to give a spread voicing. So this one, we're going to do 30 mod sense. We're going to turn it back a little bit, and we're only going to put 18 balance. This is so it doesn't overpower the bass, but also it doesn't cut the signal out. If we put this balance up high, it'll get rid of a lot of the bass signal that we started with here on A. But we want to keep this guy, but also have this just add a little bit. So we're going to use this mod sense as basically a volume. And I like it at somewhere between 20 and 30. And then the third one, which is doing our really high arpeggio. This is another octave higher than the harmony again. We're going to be mod sense all the way on 50 because I want this to come steady through the whole time and be very sensitive to the previous loops behind it. And our balance is going to be all the way back to 6, so it's just barely peeking through. If you get heavy-handed with this balance on something really high, it takes over really fast. So I just want it peeking through, so I barely have anything here. Now, these are mixed to taste for whatever track you're doing, obviously. All these settings are. But the important thing to keep in mind is when you're stacking these oscillator bots on top of each other, if you use really high balance, but like you try to split them 50-50 between, it gets out of control fast. So try to keep your balance parameter pretty low. I'd say under 20 or 30 for most of them. And use your mod sensitivity to mix the volumes of all of your different oscillators. This'll let you not control it like an actual synthesizer like you're playing, because there you have actual manual control, but it'll allow you to tweak it a little better and have it sound more like a produced song than something with random volume spikes and all that kind of stuff. Now, this can also be done over here in your input effects. I'm just doing it in my track effects for the purpose of a demonstration, but you could just do a ba into the mic with all those effects over here, record it, and then you would have this freed up for beat repeats, slicers, all kinds of weird stuff for developing your song. So you can set up a bass, a harmony, and a melody just with one input sound, and the input sound doesn't have to be on pitch. So this is a pretty good thing to play around with. It lets you set up really fast. And this D effect I just have as a reverb. You haven't heard it without it, by the way, so I should play it. So you can see it really beefs up the sound. It's kind of long, 2 seconds, fairly dense. It's fairly present with the 60 E level, but the important part is cut out the bass on this, because if we're doing a side chain between the kick, we don't want the reverb to bleed over into our kick and muffle up the bass. So we're going to low cut it here. So cut around like 1K, maybe 800, I think I chose for this. But somewhere kind of reasonable, cutting off your bass, but you still get the high end of the synth coming through, because that's what you're actually looking for in the reverb. This could go much higher if you wanted to. But all those parameters are just set to taste. But anyway, this fairly complicated setup. You might need to play with this a little bit to get it to work, and different input sounds will give you different things. This is just a bass note, like doing a high-pitched note, doing a low-pitched note. They'll all make the timbre of all the oscillators a little different, so play around with this a lot. But anyway, I hope this helps someone out there. I love everyone who made it this far. Big Esh to you guys. Bye.